WFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. And let me just say this off the top. If you know someone who's Gen X, be sure to put in a call. Check on your Gen X friends and relatives today. I'm here to tell you we're probably not okay. I remember waking up today, and I thought it's going to be a normal day. It's just a Monday. You open up the news and see what's going on, see what's happening. You know, you think you're going to talk about the economy or maybe something's going on in Washington. Normal stuff. And then you see, you know, as you live long enough, these days happen where some unsettling, very surprising, devastating news may come across your phone or your desk, your computer. And it was around 10 o'clock that I got the news that actor, singer, musician, poet, activist, I'm not going to limit him as just being an actor, that Malcolm Jamal Warner had passed, unfortunately, and I would say violently. When anyone should drown, it's a violent act. It's not someone who passed in their sleep. It's tragic. It's unspeakable in many ways. And Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, we knew him as Theo of The Cosby Show. We probably knew him as the co-star of Malcolm and Eddie alongside Eddie Griffin. Maybe you knew him as I did, as someone who was on the spoken word circuit. Maybe you knew him as someone who was a musician in his own right. He was a Grammy Award winner in 2015. We'll talk about all that later on the show. I have a few calls out to people who did know him much better than me. We had crossed paths any number of times because music, TV, radio, they kind of all blend together. And when I was working in the music industry, it was very, very close to TV, and you would see these individuals at all of our events, and we would go to their events. And we weren't on a first name basis, but we hung a few times. I had a few friends who reminded me of some of the times in which we had hung out together, because after so many years, you forget about all the things you've done in this business. But Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing was a shock to, I think, most people. And if you've had any dealing with him, or if you've been around him, he was one of the few people, and I mean this, the few people in entertainment where I couldn't find anyone who had anything bad to say about him. Just didn't. Just couldn't. You know, not that he was infallible, not that he was any less human than any of us, but he managed to not make waves in the way that most people do. There wasn't, like in this business, if you come across someone who's famous, usually as soon as the cameras go off or the person walks away, you usually have someone say, well, let me tell you about what I know about this person. Let me tell you about when I dealt with this person. Let me tell you about what I know. Not one of those stories about him. Not one. Not one. But we'll be talking about more of his legacy. And there's something else that this kind of hit me hard. When I say hard, it's the reality of life. He passed at 54. He was maybe 5 months younger than me. That makes it a little bit more real. You know, when I was growing up and I was watching The Cosby Show, like most people my age, I saw myself in the character Theo. I saw myself having some of those similar conversations with my parents. I didn't see myself, and this will be part of my final thought, I didn't see myself as Michael Evans or J.J. Evans in the Cabrini Green projects of Chicago. I didn't see myself as Arnold or Willis Jackson in Different Strokes, and their lifestyles depicted on screen were nothing like mine, not at all. I couldn't, you know, empathize with them. I could not even see myself living their lives in any way. It was complete fiction. Whereas Theo was a little bit more realistic. You know, he would do things and get in trouble. You have to answer to your parents. You get on restrictions. There was just more of something, a commonality in that. But we'll be talking about that more as the night goes on. The passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. And former LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva. He's officially back in the race to possibly become the next LA County Sheriff. And we know that Alex Villanueva can be very controversial, or people may look upon him in a controversial way. We don't know if he is received in the same way today as he was when he was first elected. There was a lot which was negatively written and said about him during his time as LA County Sheriff. He had a very acrimonious relationship with not only the the LA County Board of Supervisors, but a lot of public officials. And since the time that he's left office, he's changed parties. Yes, I know LA County Sheriff is a nonpartisan position, but still people knew that when he ran last time, he was a Democrat. Now he's registered as a Republican. We'll see if any of that matters in the perception of him as he runs for LA County Sheriff again. He was a guest on this show before. I'm quite sure we'll have him again if he wants to come on and discuss his view and vision for LA County. We're going to talk about the top 10 states in public education in all the United States, and I'm here to tell you California is nowhere near the top 10. Not even close. Not that this country really cares about public education. If you've been paying attention to what has been going on recently, we don't care about public education. So I'm not going to get too mad about California not being in the top 10 because we don't care. If you can say that California has horrible public education, well, yeah, the country doesn't really look highly upon public education or spend the money. Oh, that's right. We just shuttered the Department of Education because we care so much. Yeah. So, yeah, California, not in the top 10, but we tell you who is. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And the fundamental question is going to be, is whether former LA Sheriff Alex Villanueva, has he burned too many bridges, not only with the LA County Board of Supervisors, but with voters for him to return to the job? It's not impossible. I would say it might be a bit improbable given the trajectory of his time as sheriff. That is to say, he came in, he did some things which were very popular for certain segments of LA County and Orange County. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But as far as what type of relationships he was cultivating within Los Angeles County, it was a time of acrimony. It was a time of lawsuits. It was a time of fighting between he and the LA County Board of Supervisors. And you wonder, how do you go back to that? Because from what I understand, that relationship was never really mended. And although some of the members of the County Board of Supervisors has changed, not all of them have changed, but has the perception of Alex Villanueva changed? Now, I remember, we reported on this at KFI, when Alex Villanueva went down to Venice Beach Boardwalk and I would say stepped on the toes of LAPD as far as jurisdiction with his stance on homelessness and trying to clean up the Venice Boardwalk. That was received well by some, and that was not received well by others. And I mentioned his popularity in Orange County, and I tried to tell people this because during the race for the most recent election for LA County Sheriff, we had all of the candidates, with the exception of Alex Villanueva, during that time. We had every single one. We had on Robert Luna twice, who, as you know, eventually became the next sheriff. And to a person, they were telling me, at least from their standpoint, how Alex Villanueva was well received among the rank and file at that time, but was not well received as far as the leadership of LA County Sheriff and also civic leaders. And there was that disconnect. Now, he was very popular in Orange County. His policies and his stances, his public pronouncements, very popular. He had a show here on KFI for some time. He eventually came on with me after a certain amount of time. But his popularity was not in LA County proper. And part and parcel why he did not win in his reelection bid. And Robert Luna is now LA County Sheriff. Now, it doesn't mean that Robert Luna has done everything right as sheriff. It doesn't mean that everything has been going swimmingly for him. And it doesn't mean that he still has the full support of the rank and file. The LA County Sheriff, that deputies that I talk to, they're not all in on Robert Luna. And it'll be interesting to see who might be the next sheriff. It doesn't mean that it would be Alex Villanueva. Because let's not forget, it was a tumultuous time while he was sheriff. And although, and I like to stress this point, although he was very popular here on KFI, and although he was very popular with Orange County, I would be remiss if I didn't remind people Orange County doesn't vote in LA County elections. And that's part of the reason why he did not win. It's not a matter of whether he's popular on KFI. It's not a matter of whether he has a show on KFI. It's not a matter of whether the overwhelming majority of Orange County voters happen to like him. None of the Orange County voters are going to be voting in an LA County election. So that is something that Alex Villanueva is going to have to tend to. He's going to have to address. It's not enough to be popular among non-voters, of people who cannot help you at the ballot box. He's going to have to do some bridge building. He's going to have to do some fence mending. Not saying he can't. I'm saying he's going to have to do it, because that's the only way he will be able to get back in the good graces of LA County voters. Not entirely impossible. But if you leave and there's a bad taste in the mouth of voters, then you're going to have to do something to change that. And let's not forget, and I want to highlight this point. When he ran before, he ran as a Democrat. And yes, it is a nonpartisan position. If you don't know, LA City Council, nonpartisan. If you don't know, LA County Board of Supervisors, nonpartisan. Which means when you're going into the voting booth and you're choosing a person, you're not going to see the D or R by their name. Now, you may know their politics. You may know their registration, the party registration, but as far as how the position functions, it's not a quote unquote overtly political position. You're not trying to be elected as LA County Sheriff as a Democrat or as a Republican, but people know to whom your loyalties may lie. In other words, they know that at least when he ran before, he was a Democrat. And some people derisively said he was a Democrat in name only. He may have been registered as a Democrat, but he didn't do Democrat-like things. He wasn't speaking like a Democrat. He didn't speak to the issues that most Democrats wanted him to speak to. That may have been true or untrue. But we do know being registered as a Democrat does matter in this town and county. If you don't believe me, ask Rick Caruso. Rick Caruso, when he ran for mayor, what did he do? He changed, well, actually, let me back up. Before he even ran for mayor, he was originally a Republican, and then he changed his party registration to registered independent, no party preference. And then as he decided to run for mayor, he changed his party registration from independent to Democrat. Now, if you ask me, his politics probably have not changed in the past 5 or 6 years, just his party registration. But Rick Caruso understood, at least in that moment, he had a better chance of becoming mayor of Los Angeles as a registered Democrat than he would have as a registered independent or a registered Republican. His politics probably never changed in that time, just his party affiliation publicly. And that litmus test is going to be applied to Alex Villanueva as well. Just because he's changed his party registration from Democrat to Republican, it remains to be seen as far as how people will perceive him. Because he was perceived, irrespective of his original party registration as Democrat, he was perceived as like a Republican. He was perceived that way. Now, I don't know how he votes. I don't know how Alex Villanueva personally votes. I'm just talking about his public party registration, his public pronouncements. And part of the reason why he was so well received, in my humble estimation, in Orange County and Republican leaning areas is because everything he did seemed like a Republican. And so for many people, it seemed like a natural progression that, yes, he would change his party affiliation to Republican. But now that he's officially back in the race, and he has a campaign finance filing titled Villanueva for Sheriff 2026 and was recently registered with the California Secretary of State's office, indicating his intent to raise funds for the 2025-2026 election cycle. That means he is in the race. And now that he is in the race, people will give him another look-see. People will know that he is no longer a Democrat. And he is now throwing his fortunes in, at least publicly, with the Republican Party. That is going to impact the race, if only by perception alone. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying it's a fact. And that's the question that he will be asked. It's like, why did you change your party affiliation if you're running for a nonpartisan office? Why did you change your party affiliation? What does that mean if you happen to become sheriff? Also, he will be asked about that with respect to the ICE raids. Now, we know that Robert Luna has made a statement that he's going to be turning over inmates to ICE. He's going to be asked about that. Sheriff Luna, former Sheriff Villanueva, is going to be asked about that. His stance on ICE, he's going to have that answer ready, because that's what LA County voters are going to be concerned about. And it's not for me to tell you who you should vote for. And I'm not telling you who I'm going to vote for, because I don't even know who's in the race yet outside of Alex Villanueva. But I am saying that Alex Villanueva, and I would say this to him personally, when he comes back on this show, and we will extend the invitation to him to come back on this show. He burned a lot of bridges from then to now. And now, not that he's going hat in hand, but he is going back asking for a lot of the same voters and a lot of the elected officials' support in this endeavor. If he never thought about going back to being sheriff again, it probably wouldn't have made any difference. But now he's back, and people are not going to be surprised by the Alex Villanueva this time around. And I think some people were surprised. They thought they were going to get one Alex Villanueva, and they got another one after he was elected. So we'll see how it turns out this time. But the politics do matter, even though it may be a nonpartisan office.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the iHeartRadio app. I'm the son of two former teachers. I am about as pro-education as anyone you will meet. I will always advocate for higher education. It's been dumbed down, the debate of college versus trade school, or whether education is a scam. I will not enter into that debate with you. I refuse to have that dumbass debate. It is okay if you also pursue a trade. It is okay to say that some people are not necessarily suited to go to college, but to diminish the value of a college education is something that I will not be party to ever. And I look at the decline of not only our national view on education with the defunding of the Department of Education. I look at what we're doing and not doing on a state level. And not surprisingly, California is still lagging, lotto and all. We just can't seem to get it right for any number of reasons, regardless of whoever may be in charge, whoever happens to be in office. It's beyond politics. I just think it's about priorities or lack thereof. But take it for what it's worth. According to Wallet Hub, and you know Wallet Hub is not an expert on education, but we'll go ahead and read their survey anyhow. American families cannot afford to send their children to private schools, and public school is usually the only option for most people around the country. And what Wallet Hub did was to analyze on a state level the best school systems in terms of quality and safety across 32 different metrics. And each metric was graded on a 100-point scale with a score of 100 representing the highest quality of public K through 12 education, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. California is not in the top 10. But we'll tell you right now who is coming in at number 10. Can I sing? Should I sing? Yeah, I'm going to sing. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York. Coming in number 10. Number 9. Maryland. I can see that. Number 9. It's quality rank. Number 16, this is Maryland. And number 4, safety rank. Coming in at number 8, which means I need some input from Mark Ronner. He might know something about this. Indiana comes in at number 8.
Wait, that's supposed to be the 8th best?
Yes.
I don't think so. But then again, it's another one from that hub, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
Wallet
so
Hub.
big grain of salt.
Big grain. Number 7, the best public educations by state in the United States. Rhode Island. Never been to Rhode Island. Can't tell you. Have no frame of reference.
We should go on an H.P. Lovecraft trip of Rhode Island.
Only if Cthulhu shows up.
He's always watching us.
Might come in from the ocean. Number 6. Wisconsin. Been to Wisconsin. Couldn't tell you about the public schools in Wisconsin.
Well, they gather there for free heat.
What about cheese?
Heat and cheese, and heated cheese.
Number 5. New Hampshire.
Really? I don't know about this.
I haven't been.
I have, and I mean, it's anecdotal, but
It is.
the
It is.
first thing that hit me during my time in New Hampshire was, man, these people seem super well educated.
Quality of education ranks 4th. Safety rank 15th. I don't know what's so dangerous about New Hampshire, relatively speaking.
It's the primaries.
Got it. Coming in number 4. Virginia. 6 quality rank, 5 safety rank. Public school education. Possibly. Number 3. New Jersey. 3 quality rank, 21 safety.
Is this Wallet Hub or Bribe Hub?
Bada bing or bada boom.
Wow. That's pretty shocking.
Number 2. Okay, let me just tell you, and we talked about this before. Number 2 and number 1, I can't spell. In other words, I'm going to mess it up no matter how many times I try to spell it. Number 2 is Connecticut. I know they have a lot of good private schools, but I don't know about public schools. They have good boarding schools, great private school system. Don't know about public schools.
You can't spell Connecticut?
I always mess it up. Seriously.
Do you think this kind of rules you out of mocking other people's education at this point?
No. I could do it. It's just that I'll mess it up. There are words that I mess up routinely.
Okay.
You know? You don't have any problems with any words?
Oh, I'm sure I must.
Because when we asked you about Massachusetts before,
I'm not going to admit any of it to you right now to help you insult me back.
Coming in at number 1, the best public school education in the country. Massachusetts. I always forget how many S's and how many T's. I'm sorry. I just do. I do. And it's 3 S's and 2 T's.
Well, you can never have too many of those, honestly.
What, too many S's or too many T's?
Both. Pile them up.
Hey, Stefan, remind me, didn't Mark mess this up the last time we had him spell Massachusetts?
Oh, please, move on.
The first time he did, yeah. Remember that.
Now you're fishing.
How many degrees do you have, Mark?
It doesn't make any difference.
5, 6. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Yes, New Jersey. New Jersey came in like number 3.
It's Extortion Hub, not Wallet Hub.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on YouTube. And let me just stop right there. You got to go like and share and subscribe. I want to make sure everyone knows about this great YouTube show that we're doing here on Later with Mo Kelly. Thanks to Daniel, our video technical director, and our chat monitor and director, Carnisha. They're doing a wonderful job. I want to make sure that they get the requisite respect and credit. And, the more subscribers, the better. the better the actual presentation. All of that works hand in hand. So I just want to say to them both publicly, thank you very much for all the work that you do. We appreciate you. And it's a wonder. I like how I watch the chat and the video stream as the show goes, and I notice little things which are changed and improved from week to week. A chyron here or an insert there or some video over there. And it's like, wow, I'd watch this show.
Or like new effects.
Yes,
like layovers.
animations and transitions. It's like a professional show up in here. It's really something else. So you got to make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And when you subscribe, it makes it easier for you to find it when you come back. It'll pop up so you don't have to search for it every single time you want to check out the show. Or if you missed the live show, it will be right there in your list of subscriptions where you can see the show. If you missed it, you couldn't maybe watch it live, you want to check it out later, or you want to see something again, it makes it real simple. So make sure you like and subscribe and share. Last segment, we're talking about the top public school educational systems in America by state. And I said that California was not in the top 10. Well, it actually, I meant to tell you last segment, but I'll tell you now, it actually came in 30th, which is about right. 30th. We do not care about education. Now, we spend money on education, but that's different from actually caring about education. Both my parents were public school teachers for the better part of 40 years each in various school districts, from Compton School District to LAUSD to Torrance. They've seen some stuff over the years, and they've seen also the evolution of education over the years. And I just grew up in a household that valued education, something that today I don't think this society does. For all the talk of American exceptionalism, I've heard it, you've heard it. We talk about how great America is, and America is great, but that's usually inextricably linked to the overall education of the population. As education goes down, usually societies suffer. There are all sorts of historical examples, or you can just look at present day examples. And this is why I encourage people to travel. You get to see other societies, you get to see other countries, and their focus or lack thereof or availability of good public education. And you get to see how well or how poorly that society is run. If you've ever been to, let's say, I was in South Korea last year. I hope to be in Japan and South Korea this year. You will see societies that not only value education, they value it on a national level, where it's not insanely expensive to get a higher education. And also it's a huge deal as far as secondary education. It's something that's focused on, it's something that's emphasized, and it's something, most importantly, that's valued. It's not like people go around and say, oh, college is a scam. You don't hear that over there. And I know why, because they get it and we don't. And also, let me just get on my soapbox real quick. You will see a correlation. It's not a causal relationship, but you will see a correlation between the societies with the most education and the most health care. I don't know why that is. I can't tell you specifically.
Are you sure?
No, Mark, I can't quite find why there is a link between the educations, the countries with the most healthcare available to people, and also being the most educated society.
They really are hard dots to connect, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just luck. Maybe there is no connection. Yeah. Maybe the countries which spend the most on education and healthcare. No, it couldn't be that. It couldn't be that.
No. Some people say that the less educated you are, the easier you are to control and be lied to. But I'm sure there's nothing to that.
But there is something to this. We talk about, when I say talk about, are national conversations about the importance of bringing manufacturing back to the United States, because the United States doesn't produce anything anymore. We're not the leaders in semiconductors or chips or whatever. And they don't see the connection between that and our lagging in STEM. They don't see that in our lagging in general education. There is a direct correlation between the improvement of education and being a leader in manufacturing and technology. There's a direct, straight line. Because every country I can tell you about which values education, they're a leader in what, Mark? Say it with me, technology. And a leader in education. China, leader in technology, leader in education. South Korea, Japan, leader in technology, leader in education. It's real simple. It's really, really simple. But instead, we have education. College is a scam. Who needs college?
You know, the people who say that tend to be not college graduates, so they get a grain of salt right along with the Wallet Hub people.
It's called sour grapes. If I don't have it, then it must not be valuable, or there's something wrong with it. We politicized it to the point where people are shamed for where they went to school. Shamed. Oh, you're a liberal elite. Oh, you went to Harvard. Can't believe you went to Yale. Why didn't you go to a real school like West Virginia Tech?
Now, next, you're going to tell me you're not a big Linda McMahon fan.
Linda McMahon, for those who don't know, is the former wife of Mr. McMahon of WWF, WWE fame. And she has been the, let's say, what is it? The Department of Small Business or something that she's doing?
She's the current education secretary, and her background is
not education.
Not in education. It's in pro wrestling.
She's never been a teacher. She's never been a school administrator. She's never had any type of connection to education. But it doesn't matter because we don't have a Department of Education anymore. So it's all good. It's all good. I tell you, I will go to the wall and to the mat, whatever.
Yes, the mat. Go to the mat.
Whatever. For education. Specifically for education, Mr. Wrestler, go to the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything stems from it. Everything. If we talk about where this country is lacking, it will trace back to education. If you talk about healthcare, it will trace back to education. If you talk about crime and poverty, guess what? That traces back to education. A more educated society, there's less crime. A more educated society, there's more technology and also jobs. There is a direct connection. But here, we're stuck on stupid. Literally. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.